Cue. All right, we're recording. So, these beautiful, amazing divine mirror sessions, as you guys know, are opportunities for not only you to listen to some incredible light leaders, new earth visionaries, genuine masters out here living, breathing, embodying their soul's work, serving and supporting the world and being a more loving, kind, unified place. And also, I'm sure you've noticed that many of them are real humans. Many of them are experiencing challenges like each and every one of you. We are not immune to the year of transformation. And our next speaker, Bonnie, I've shared a bit about what she's navigating, but we're going to spotlight her here. And I'll read her bio and then we'll jump into the beautiful conversation that wants to unfold. But Bonnie, Divina Maa, offers accelerated healing and evolution through many modalities, including entheogenic integration, shamanic practices, somatic work, and quantum healing. She draws from several ancient mystical wisdom traditions, and she has recently published a gold medal award-winning book, The Place Beyond the Story, A Spiritual Adventure. And all of her work is dedicated to helping people remember who they are. Oh, Bonnie, sacred sister, welcome to our space.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. I am really just grateful, Lacey. Grateful to have this place to land in this moment, to remember that there's a lot more going on outside of the tiny little microcosm that I've been existing in this last week. So yeah, and hello to everyone all around the world. Wonderful to be here with all of you.
You guys, Bonnie, again, not immune to the throes of transformation, not immune to the fires of alchemy. I've shared with you guys, she a week ago, almost to the hour and minute today, she lost everything in a fire that took their home, took all of their material objects, and her and her beloved and her cats, they got out safe. And so from we it's a honestly it's an honor that we get to be with her here now because of the uncertainty and the question mark around where she would be and what she would be doing. As she shared, she went from a soot-filled home to where she is now to be here with each one of us. Bonnie, my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you're absolutely correct. We are very blessed in this moment to have an Airbnb right down the street. And so we've been back and forthing, and the lady who has the Airbnb was kind enough to let us extend right now. Actually, she's been letting us stay here for free for the last couple of nights. And this is how kind people are, just from all directions. But yes, I was literally suited up not too long ago, just still going into the blackened soot and smoky what's left of our house. Just still trying to pull out things. It's an amazing amount of what needs to be done after a fire, even a total loss fire. And we've had a team of just phenomenal angels showing up for us in every which way possible over the last week. And ultimately, just that is what I get emotional about. When I hear somebody say, like, we're going to do a fundraiser for you, or my friend's brother who works at this place is taking up a collection for you. And I'm like, those are the times where I really have had some emotional moments. But as we were talking about a little bit earlier, this is not something that I feel like I need to shed a lot of tears over, and maybe they will come. Maybe my body will release some tears at some point. But like I have been through things in my life, right, where my heart's gotten ripped out of my chest, right? I lost a partner in 2016, a accidental death. I've lost pets that were like my familiars. And that feels like a shattering. That feels like a slow motion explosion. And it's agonizing. This just doesn't feel like that for me, anyways. It doesn't even come close to what that kind of grief and loss feels like. Maybe something will still come down the road. But overall, I I'm in really and have been in complete trust and acceptance, and even having some laughs at like the cosmic jokes that have come up through all of this. there's been there's been some goodies.
I can imagine. I'm glad. I'm so glad that you've gotten to find levity and joy out of an experience. And I loved what you had said earlier when we were connecting around what some could perceive a tragedy, an absolute tragedy. Yeah, it doesn't land that way in your body, which I really believe is just a testament to you and who you are and your embodiment of, okay, all right, this was unavoidable. You even said that earlier. This was something that was meant to happen. And maybe you're not in that exploration phase right now of the why, which is probably best for your body and nervous system. But to have that higher perspective and deeper understanding and embodiment, I think it shows in the way that you're navigating this with so much grace and love and even levity.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, in a way, I'm curious and excited. It's like, as you and I had discussed, I've been premonitioning this for well over a year now, mm-hmm. and had made sure the electric was upgraded and grounded, fire extinguishers, right? We'd kind of done some things safety wise to make sure it's okay. Like maybe this was just a way of spirit telling me, like, get this stuff fixed, right? Which we did. We got the stuff fixed. And now I see, no, this was going to happen regardless. And the signs, even up to the time that it happened at 3:30 on Ash Wednesday, by the way. And so when I kept getting these signs from source, there would be a fire and there would be a 33. And so I just, all the way up, it's like source has been dropping these things for me all along, letting me know, I mean, right up until the time it happened, there was no avoiding this. It's part of the divine plan. And we don't know what's next. It's like, but I know it's going to be something that must be pretty darn cool in order for us to lose our entire home and be displaced and not able to work in the moment, and just, yeah, so even in all of this, I see this is still the universe conspiring for me. Nothing has happened to me. There's no victimhood in this, right? And you and I were talking about, well, how do we have a 5D experience in a 3D moment? And so interesting. I was working with somebody not too long ago, and she was asking me questions like, well, what is it about this new earth, and what is it going to be like? And I don't quite get it. And I mean, are bad things never going to happen in new earth? And and I said, well, this is how I see it, right? And maybe at some point we'll get to the point where it's all just bliss and nothing terrible ever happens. I said, but there's going to be probably at least an in-between period where we're going to continue to have terrible things happen. It's just our response to them is different. The way that we're held and supported in it is different. And I said, and again, this is crazy, crazy cool. I said, think about like if you lost your home in a fire. I said, I've just recently had some friends who lost their home in California in a fire. I said, yet they did a GoFundMe. They got tens of thousands of dollars right away from people. People are helping them every step of the way. They're in complete trust. They're in complete surrender. They're in gratitude. They're in joy. Uh, right? Like, and then here it is. And it's like, now I'm in reflecting, oh, well, I was actually telling my story, didn't know it
Oh,
yet. Uh, and I absolutely do feel the same. And this all comes down to attachment,
mhm,
right? And trust
mhm,
and faith. Uh, but there's no, I recognize that because of all of the work that we've done, like when we do the work, it works, right? I have worked on non-attachment for many, many years. And now here it is, everything. And I mean, we're talking incredible artwork, crystals, the plants we were going, the lemon tree that just bloomed, right? Like magical, beautiful home, uh, gone. And I'm just kind of like, okay, well, I have everything that I still really am attached to: my own life, my partner, our cats. I'm aware that I'm attached to those things. I'm aware that if those things went away, I'm going to experience grief. I'm going to experience loss. I'm not at the point of enlightenment where I have not released all of those attachments, right? But as we're ascending, we do tend to release attachments to a lot of things, a lot of material things. And so every time, something does come up, like, oh, there was that beautiful thing. Oh, there was that. I'm never going to see. There was that piece of art, whatever. It's like, I just, in my mind, I hold it in my hand and I just offer it to the fire.
mhm,
Oh, there was that. My grandmother's wedding ring. Offer it to the fire.
mhm,
Like, oh, there was that beautiful piece of jewelry my mother had that she gave me. Offer it to the fire. Just offer it. Just offer it. Just offer it. Just keep offering it. Right. And that's been my tool right now. That's been super, super helpful as those things come up. Yeah. I'm going to pause for a minute. I've been talking a while. See what.
No, yeah, that's beautiful, you guys. Is it refreshing to witness somebody that has had something pretty, life shaking happen in their life, the rug pulled out from underneath her, and how refreshing it is to witness her in the state of consciousness she is, observing this from a higher perspective and deep understanding. And then even that, yeah, okay, offer it to the fire, offer it to the fire, the fires of alchemy, the fires of transformation. And another thing that we were talking about that I think will be really helpful is your own awareness around your energy field and your body and where you're at and the disconnection and how and your choices that you've made around that. Bonnie's a space holder. Bonnie holds space for others in their transformation. And it was very clear that she's not in a place, literally her place that she holds space at is no longer existing. But there was a level of, I just want to honor the integrity that you have. And so I would love for you to speak into that and share with everyone here.
Yeah, thank you. Those of us who are in any kind of service, healing work, helping work, we care deeply for the people that we are serving. And so that was one of the first things I was thinking about, is like, oh my gosh, what about this person? Or what about that person who's about to fly in? Or gosh, this person is in a bad place right now. I'm supposed to meet with them on Tuesday.
Mhm.
And just recognizing I am not in a grounded space. So even if I could take an hour to go pop on a Zoom right now or do some of the other work that I do, um, I'm not going to be a solid grounded anchor. With as much as I would love to think that I can be completely present, you know, it's not always the case.
Mhm.
And I recognize that, like, there's some slight bit of dissociation right now. I know, I recognize that it feels like my my head is separated from my body, in a sense, if that makes any sense, like, and my nervous system is a little bit frazzled. I ran into the fire 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, and so my body has been releasing a lot of adrenaline.
Mhm.
It's been tremoring from time to time. My mind is overwhelmed with tasking. I mean, it's the amount of tasking right now is next level, right? Thank you. I see some of the comments coming in. And so, I take those moments where I do sit for a moment and I ground, and I breathe. And I actually, have had people bombarding me with things, even somebody who was really being very proactive and doing a tremendous amount of work trying to help us find a place to stay and all of these things. But it was like, texts that were a mile long. And I just finally had to say, like, I can't read these right now. It's overwhelm, right? For me to do this. I said, I'm understanding that I'm trying to tend to all of these tasks and answer all of these texts. I said, I'm forgetting to pray. And I need to remember to pray. I need to set some time for that and have that still be woven into some of the higher priorities, and trust that, yes, everything else will fall into line. But so often we do that, right? Especially when we're in a situation where there's upheaval and everything's been turned inside out, and there's so much happening at once and you're being pulled in a million different directions. It's very easy to just keep doing that.
Mhm.
I could be doing that until 4 o'clock in the morning every single night right now, right? And I could have not slept and still have tasks to be doing. And it's that reminder. And it's so interesting because, this book that I wrote, which maybe we'll talk a little bit about, The Place Beyond the Story, which a lot of it involves me being in chaotic situations like in India. And so throughout the book, I say, close your eyes, take a breath, and pray. And I have gone back and reread that book so many times. I still love reading it. I still get a lot out of it. I still go like, oh my gosh, how did I write that? Or I need to take that advice. And that has been coming to me repeatedly. That one sentence from the book, that I write over and over again: close your eyes, take a breath, and pray. Right? And my prayer is one of gratitude. And also, I call in the highest outcome, the highest timeline in this situation. I don't know what it looks like yet. I don't know what life spirit has in store for my partner and our cats in this moment. I know it's going to look different. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet, but I can call in the highest timeline. I can call in the highest outcome, right? Like, I don't know what this looks like. I'm just calling in the highest outcome. And I even did that while the fire was happening, right? I'm just praying prayers up for the highest outcome in this situation. I'm calling in the highest, very highest outcome in this situation. May it be done. May it be so. And so it is. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and that we can see Alondra put a benevolent outcome prayer in there for you as well, and that's what I was my exact prayer for you was the most benevolent outcome for all involved, and that's still flushing itself out. It's and part of that benevolent outcome we were talking about the community, and you even mentioned that before too around the community showing up and support. And you were sharing with me not only with the desire to help raise funds, the offer for a free place to stay, but the community has really showed up for you. And I did. How is that in the asking for and the receiving? How are you navigating that? How does that feel?
Yeah, I am really good at asking and really good at receiving.
Awesome.
Did not used to be that way,
Mhm.
right? Uh, and so, that was, of course, like the first thing that I did was start reaching out, right? Like a text chain, told one person, blast everybody, whoever our closest circle is, like, let everybody know whatever we need, we need it. We need it. We need all of it. We need help. We need food. We need to figure out where we're going to sleep. We need shoes. We need money. We need all of it. Right. And so right away that just started happening. I mean, there was honestly not even a need to ask
Mm.
for a lot of it. Even just standing out in the street watching the house burn, we had neighbors coming up that we had never met ever. People are handing us cash. They're asking me what size shoe I wear. What size shoe does your partner wear? Uh, what do you need? We got 5 different people telling us they got extra rooms. Everything and is happening already. Like everything that we need is already there.
Mm.
Uh, and then I got up that next morning, and the first thing, of course, I said, "Oh yeah, well, now we understand we're going to need a lot,
Mhm.
right? Insurance. Ooh, we could have a whole long, nice little talk about that. Some of you probably know all about that. Uh, not going to get nearly back, right? Not even close. Not even close, right? To what we've collected and everything like that over the years. I mean, I was just thinking about like my aromatherapy oils alone, all the oils I flew to Egypt to get, like, right? Like all of these beautiful oils. And like, oh my gosh, we're talking about thousands of dollars alone just in oils, and so recognizing like, oh, I need some of these things to continue work, right? We need a place to continue to work. I put up the GoFundMe.
Mhm.
And spirit told me what to say, everything. And immediately, right? Immediately, people start donating. And and then all of a sudden, we've got enough for today. We've got enough for this month. And then somebody's offering us a house, an apartment. And, it's just like one thing after another
Mm.
is is happening. And it's interesting, like, I would say it's not asking that for the help that is difficult for me or receiving it. It's saying no to the people that want to help, right? Like, I had people bring me things that I just know, like, I'm never going to wear that. It's not happening, right? And I've got bagfuls of clothes that people are bringing me. And do I just accept it and say that, just be polite and say thank you and then what, pass it on? Or do I simply say, I would so much rather you give this to somebody who can actually use it,
Mm.
right? Because that's that is something that I just know I'm not going to be able to use right now,
Mhm.
right? A lot, so many people want to offer things, and the challenge for me has been to say thank you and no thank you. Uh, Please give that to somebody else or keep it for yourself, uh, because we've got 5 of those already. Somebody already brought to us, you know?
Which
So
is
that's been the
incredible,
exercise.
by the
That's been the
way.
exercise for me.
Yeah. I mean, that's incredible. And I really feel like that in and of itself is just a testament to the own work that you've done around being able to ask for and receive that which you need, that which you desire and require, and knowing that it can come in infinite ways and the universe is always here to gift you. And I just think there's something we've talked a bit on this call about our ability to give and to receive, and really the giving tends to be quite easy. It often is the receiving or even the asking for support. I'm just so incredibly grateful that the community has shown up and not surprised in the least bit, because that is who you guys are. You have generated and curated a beautiful, loving community of support. You have supported and served so many of these beings, I guarantee you, just in your beingness. And so I'm not surprised to hear that people want to give you and pour into you and support you and help you through this time to navigate this time with more ease and grace. And genuinely, that is, if we talk about the blue zone states, the blue zone state, there's the blue zone regions, these people, the highest concentration of centennials, and the number one reason why they live so long has nothing to do with their food, diet, or positivity. It's community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, Even, yes, our spiritual community, our church community, but unexpectedly our neighborhood.
Hmm.
Our
Wow.
neighborhood. I mean, I got to say, I feel like now I just live in the best neighborhood in the world. I cannot tell you how many neighbors have come by to offer us anything and everything that is needed. We have people that check on us every day. I have one lady that's making me her special blend of tea with the cumin and the fennel and the immunity things. She's like, "You're going to need this, honey." And so she brings me a new jug every day and I give her the old jug. Uh,
Hmm.
just so many people in our neighborhood that have come in just full support and have brought the level of what I thought was neighborly up to, they've set the bar like very high at this point for what I thought was being a neighborly person or something like that. I'm like, oh gosh, I told my partner Kevin, I said, we're really gonna have to up our own game now, when it comes to being good neighbors.
Yeah, they
Uh
raised the bar,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
So sweet. Oh, I'm just so glad to hear. And now, it's unfortunate that it sometimes takes an event like this to realize how amazing all the people you live nearby are. But you're going to have that relationship and that connection, and my prayer is that you get to rebuild with them the same
Yes.
neighborhood, right? Is that the
Yeah.
intention, or is that, I
That
have even thought in your
is,
mind? Okay.
and especially after seeing the beauty, the people that we live in here, now it's like we're best friends with everyone. So
Yeah.
that's what, there's so many beautiful, enriching things that come out of things like this. And while, yes, we've lost a lot of precious things and we lost a home, we have gained
Mm.
new relationships, uh, and a network that feels even stronger than anything that we've ever had
Mm.
before. So, just the blessings continue to pour in, right? And so that is when I look back, I just think like, yeah, the work pays off.
Mhm.
It pays off. Oh, when we do the work to release attachments, when we do the work to learn to be heart-centered people, uh, when we learn how to raise our vibration and be in that one-on-one connection
Mm.
with Source God Creator, and also recognize that we too are that, right? And the very first one and the only one I got to watch, right? And I'm wondering how that's been going since then, because the goal was this: the I am what? I am
Mm-hmm.
God,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so recognizing that we are the sovereign co-creator. And so even as things are coming in and, the insurance people are like, well, I don't know, they're probably fight you on that. And I don't know, they're probably going to, and all of these different things. I'm just like, by my sovereign command, it is so, and so it is.
Mm-hmm.
I, and just connecting to that within, that is also without, and co-creating, right, throughout this entire experience, recognizing I'm not at the mercy of anyone here. And when I hear something like, well, there's probably going to be a hang up with that. Ooh, I don't know. They might not cover you because of that, and all these kinds of things. It's just like, I just kind of like bring in my team. I'm like, y'all take care of that, please.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, let's go here.
Yeah.
And so recognizing, right, in these moments, which can be, like I've said, devastating, right? It's devastating, but I'm not devastated.
Mm.
Uh, that we have the opportunity to be in the flow, in the highest flow, by being in our gratitude. And if we remain in our gratitude, then we are in one of the highest flows. And then everything is going to unfold. It becomes a thing of ease. It becomes a thing of grace. And everything that is needed is there. It doesn't feel like trying. Do
Mm.
I need to put my rubber gloves on and go dig my hands around in the soot? Yeah, I do. That's okay. I'm grateful.
Mm.
I'm grateful to do that, right? Uh, and so I have found over and over again, when I have been in any kind of a situation where I feel like, oh, no, all hope is lost. There was this one time I was in San Francisco. It was very early. It was at a weird hour of San Francisco in the Tenderloin in the morning. Weird. It's kind of a weird place to be at certain times of the morning. I was going to pick up a rental car, and they said it was going to be a bit. I said, okay, I'm going to go out, try to find a green juice. Finally got to a green juice place, had meandered all over, realized then I left my wallet at the rental car place. Whole wallet displayed out on the counter of the rental car place. I said, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to get the juice. I just realized I left my wallet. I got to go back. Following my little phone, which I had done the whole way there, right? Hadn't been looking at, just following the phone. Phone dies.
Oh.
Now I'm lost. I'm in the Tenderloin. It's a weird hour. And I'm thinking, like, oh, no phone, no money, lost. Don't even remember the name of the rental car place.
Mm.
And nobody to ask. And so I experienced this one moment of kind of like a panic, like, oh no, this is terrible. And then something, boom, clicked in that moment. It was like gratitude,
Mm.
gratitude. So I just started walking. I'm like, okay, what do I have to be grateful for? Well, I got my eye. I can see where I'm going. Well, that's pretty cool. Grateful for that. Oh, I got my feet and my legs. That's pretty cool. I'm grateful for that. You know. Well, I got shoes to wear. That's pretty cool. right? Just started thinking like there's a million things that we can be grateful for in any given moment. And all of a sudden, I felt my vibration shift.
Mm.
And it was like, now I had wings. And before I knew it, there I was standing in front of the rental car. Wallet there, the nice man had taken it and held it for me, got the car, went on my way, right? So again, like when we start to remember who we really are, right? That we are the highest frequency. We are that. That's our true nature. And we start to embody that. We practice embodying that in every moment that there's little shifts that start to occur. We up level just a little, just a little, just a little. Sometimes we have a big up level and a little. Maybe we plateau for a minute and a little, but we keep working on remembering who we are. We keep going back to that place of remembrance. And we remain in our gratitude, in that light, and in that love. And we might spiral back around to a particular situation. Oh, here we are again. Oh, God, I thought that was the last time. I thought I'd done all the work. I thought I got it all right. I thought that would never happen again. You know, all these things. But we got to remember, it's not a circle, it's a spiral. So we've come back around, but we're several notches higher in our vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Our response to it is different. How we receive it is different. Our perspective is different. And how we are carried through that experience is different. Right? So yes, terrible things are going to continue to happen, I think, for the unforeseeable future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those things will happen. And if we are continually rooting, grounding in that true nature, remembering that we are the co-creator, then how we experience that event will be drastically different.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. The beauty. There's so much wisdom in the words that you just offered to all of us. And the spiral coming back, not, we're not going to avoid the challenges in life. It's how we choose to handle, perceive, navigate the challenges. And that we do have a choice around. And, and in a situation like you're navigating, I love that you're also honoring the pain and the places, and you're honoring the disassociation. You're honoring the fact that your nervous system feels a little chaotic and that you're feeling a little a little disembodied. You're honoring that. You're not trying to change it. You're not trying to fix it. You're offering to the fire. Anytime anything comes up and you're like, oh no, you offer it to the fire. It's a journey. It's an initiation. It really is an initiation that you're undergoing. And we get to choose. In the story that you shared, what a beautiful story. You could, and I saw it as like this choice point. Like here, it's like, okay, she can freak out and she can go into fear, worry, stress, concern, and have a little panic meltdown. And amygdala is firing, nervous system's overwhelmed. And then you're just in essential non-action. Or you choose the other path and you chose gratitude. And then the magic of that moment, choosing to stay anchored in love, choosing love over fear, allowed you to almost, if by magic, your feet be guided to exactly where you needed to be. It was almost like the memory of your subconscious was allowed to navigate you through the streets back to where you needed to go and be an anchor, because you didn't shut down. You allowed, okay, the subtle sensations, the feeling, you stayed in the heart. You stayed in the heart, which is I really believe what we're being invited into in every moment. There's going to be challenges. And in those challenges, it's like, what do you choose? How do you choose to perceive what's happening to you or for you? If you want to choose for you, are you going to stay in love and gratitude? And I love that practice. If you're experiencing something really challenging and you could, what can you be grateful for? What in this moment? And for you, your feet, your shoes, your eyes, something so simple and seemingly that never gets appreciation. Let's be real. Like, how often do we actually appreciate our eyes, our feet, our shoes? And in that moment, in that choice point, it then worked out. And you got to, and I think there's something beautiful about the evidence that you've now created and being able to trust yourself, the evidence that you created and being able to trust the universe and always having your back. And now you have that core memory imprinted, and you're like, oh, yeah, when I trust and when I stay in my heart, miraculous things happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can take a look at that trauma component, right? Because uh say there was an opportunity for me in this particular situation that's happened now with the fire for the oh no to kick in, for
Mm.
the worry program, the what if program to kick in. Right? What if this? Oh no, this right? And so, oh, I think I froze. Oh, there I'm back. Uh, and so this is some of the work that I do on the day to day with people, and this is a lot of the work that I've done for myself, right? Because, and I write about this in my book. Man, if worrying was like an Olympic sport, I would have gotten a gold medal every single year, right? I would have been some sort of like I would have been in the Guinness Book of Records or something, like right for worrying. I was the champion,
That's
champion.
amazing for me to hear it too, because I don't know that version of you. I know this version of you, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
These things are not all that long ago, right? And so, uh, yeah, it's like I recognize in moments, and I've done a lot of work on the worry program, uh, and and so the program it's still there, just the teeniest, tiniest little bit, and it only wants to show up in uh, these bigger moments, right, where it's a real unknown, and you see, oh, this could definitely go bad, right?
Mhm.
And so there's just been the tiniest little glimmer of that worry program wanting to like, hey, what about, but what if, and you don't know, right? And all these kinds of things. And I just look over and I'm like, I see there. Oh, I'm not engaging with you. I love you.
Mhm.
I have compassion for you, you know. Uh-uh. No,
You're not
gotta stay
hijacking my consciousness anymore.
over there. You gotta stay over there,
Yeah.
right? And then just taking that moment, right? Well, do I feel that in my body anywhere? Okay, let me just do an energetic hygiene check-in. Let me sit with this for a moment, right? No, my body feels in trust.
Mm.
Body feels okay. Um, and so, so important, like that, as time goes on, we recognize that these programs run deep. And we're going to likely get into some situations where they might rise to the surface, right? Because now it's a big bang.
Mhm.
And we have the opportunity, even in those moments, now to really reinforce that good upgraded program, that wiring, right? And just no, I love you, right? Like, no. Uh, there's there's layers, you and I loved your whole thing about the trauma and the beliefs, right? You did
Mhm.
that whole diagram. That was the one program that I watched in the beginning. Uh, and so that, and these are these good check-in moments,
right? Like, okay, is there a child in me that still feels very unsafe, that still feels very insecure, that is unsure, or or is in chaos in some way?
Mhm.
Uh, and so it's a good way to check in a little bit, right? So like, okay, well, something pretty darn big has just happened.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, how interesting. Well, there's a tiny little glimmer still in there of something, right? Oh, yay, more work to do.
It's just like, again, the peeling back of the layers, and we don't know. And sometimes it's too much to process all at once. And so we peel it back, and you're just cultivating greater trust. And yeah, it's natural, I would assume, for something so big. You've never had anything quite like this happen before in this lifetime yet. So, I mean, I'm sure there, who knows, it could, maybe it's happened in other lifetimes. And now it's kind of this experience is a new experience for you here. And so, yeah, that might flood into your system, that worry and concern. It's like, oh no, what are we going to do? But I love how you sit with it. You welcome it. You don't reject it. You understand that that's part of the journey. You don't expect it, but if it shows itself, then you hold it in compassion and know, okay, yay, what's being revealed in me is a further purification process. What's coming up here now? We've got Alkemia Earth coming on here next. Alchemy is an invitation for alchemy. It's an invitation to then take the residual stuff that's in there and to really hold it, embrace it in so much love and compassion, so that you can realize just how resilient and powerful and strong you are on the other side of all of this and in the midst of it in the now moment too.
And we all get to, in those moments, we get to give ourselves a little pat on the shoulder. We get to say,
Yeah.
good job, you. You've been
Yes.
doing it. Good
Yeah.
job, right? We get to hug ourselves and love ourselves and
The
give
re
ourselves that moment of like
yeah.
celebration of like, hey, this was a milestone, right?
Absolutely. If we can't be our biggest champion, if we can't be our greatest lover, if we can't reparent ourselves, if we can't give ourselves the safety and the pride of being proud of ourselves, like how do we expect others to do that for us? So I I really, this is, you're gonna have to write another book now, darling. They're like, you wrote it. Now it's time for volume 2. Let's give you something to write
I
about.
already have a volume 2.
Do you?
This is got to be like volume 4. I got all these things. Yeah,
Wow.
but we do want to get that first book out really out there.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
Where can they find your book? Is it on your website?
can access it through my website. It will just take you on the link right over to Amazon. That's where I've got
Okay,
the book, the platform that I've got the book
I
right
see it. I'm going to actually just grab that link right now so that I can drop it in the chat for those that are here. I'm going to add it to our website so it's a little bit easier for them to not have to go looking for it, even though it's one click still. We like to make things easy for you guys. So if you are, I know we didn't get to dive into her book, but as she's already kind of given you a taste of it, it's her life, it's her experiences, it's what she's had to navigate, the challenges, even deeper challenges than what she's navigating now, that allowed her to get to the place that she's at now, where she can observe this from a place of love and higher understanding, and honor it as serving rather than going into victim worry consciousness, which is just incredible and so inspiring. And I know you canceled everything in your calendar. For the fact that you're here with all of us here today, it means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that this container, that so like that you felt safe enough to show up exactly as you are, navigating exactly what you're navigating.
like
Like that's what
no makeup. I'm borrowing some clothes. I don't know. Yeah, we'll get there though.
I mean, this is the kind of spaces that we want, right, guys? The ones in where we can show up exactly as we are and know that is perfection. There's nothing that she had to do. We didn't expect any doing of her. Her being was all that we needed. And thank you so much, because your being and your life story and what you're navigating now and the way in which you're navigating it with so much grace is profoundly inspiring to me. And I hope to those of you that are live and watching this replay as well. Bonnie, we love you so much. And darlings, if Bonnie's stories touched your heart and you happen to be in a place where you have a little bit, oh, Tammy just bought your book, she said. Yay. If you happen to be in a place where you are experiencing abundance, or maybe it's $5, maybe it's $10. Yesterday, the divine mirror ritual, the embodiment ritual was around gratitude. And there was 3 acts of generosity. Maybe you've done your 2 and you're like, or maybe you've done 10 and you're like, this is another one that I want. There's an invitation. If her story touched your heart, that you can pour into her. And the beauty is we know we don't give to receive, but goodness gracious, if the universe doesn't reward those who just generously support when others are in need, because you never know when you could be in need. You never know when the universe is like, oh, it's her turn. It's her turn. So
Lacey, I would just like to drop it real quick. You can go on my Facebook page. I've written it on my Facebook page, actually. I did a post about this a couple days ago. The law of tenfold return. It's a universal law. It's not a law. We talk about law of attraction and a lot of the other ones, but the law of the tenfold return is 100% real. It 100% works when we do it without any resistance to it. Mm-hmm. And so you can turn that $5 into $50 coming back your way, and that gives you more money to then return back out, right? And we get to keep doing that. And so yes, anybody who wants to support me, even if it's just buying my book's on sale right now, so I'm not really making any money on it, but the sales are helpful. But the GoFundMe is helpful too. But by all means, you take that and you turn it into 10 times more back in your direction, because you are absolutely worthy of it.
I love that. That was the whole day yesterday. It was super abundance. And that was why we did the gratitude, because it was nothing about, it was like, okay, if you had all the abundance of the world, how would you serve the world? What would you do to make the world a better place? And that's what I really recognize abundance being, this just heart-centered desire to give and to support and to serve. And yeah, the law of tenfold. And so that, what you were saying, the recirculation, we aren't meant to get it and hold on to it and hoard it. We're meant to recirculate it in beautiful ways and places that our heart feels called to. So if your heart is saying, I want to help Bonnie, then there's a few ways that you can do so. And I love that you just did a post about the law of tenfold return. It's Bonnie, we love you so much. Everyone, hold Bonnie in your prayers, praying for the absolute most benevolent outcome. May you guys anchor into the highest timeline. And again, just deeply grateful that you are a part of this experience and that it was a safe space for you to still show up in exactly as you are. We're so grateful. So incredibly grateful. There's her Facebook as well. Thank you, Alondra. I appreciate you.
Comments too, and much love, many blessings to all of you.
Bye, darling.
And I guess you'll do the free gift, right? You'll send that out, or
what was your free gift? I can't remember if I received that. Was that a text?
It is a PDF I worked really hard on, because I'm not good at doing all of these.
Yes.
Making it look fancy. So that is actually what is called my 4-step process to manifest more abundance. So
where did you send that to me? I was looking for that earlier.
No, but we can loop back around and I can send it again.
I'll get that put up onto the website today. I'll find that today.
People can email me directly.
Okay.
As soon as I get a laptop, I will send it out.
That's right. Abundance. I was really excited about that. We didn't even get to talk about that. She's got an incredible, so much going on in this woman's world. But I'll get you guys that link as well. She's got a process that she navigates to support and anchoring into and holding and carrying through the nervous system, through the body. Are you ready to hold more? Are you ready to tap into more abundance? I use that practice, by the way, my own version of what I envisioned it being for this program, for this. So thank you.
All right. Well, much love to all of you. Many, many blessings. Thank you so much, Lacey. This has been this whole thing. I'm just so impressed. Really fantastic.
Thank you so much. I'm deeply and profoundly honored. I love you so much, and looking forward to getting to weave with you and see you and be with you in perfect divine timing.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Oh, you guys, so good to be with Bonnie. What a beautiful, beautiful perception of reality, right? Some navigating something with so much that can, as she said, perceive tragedy. And because people are trying to tell her, what a tragedy. She's like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I feel that that's what I'm experiencing. So, oh, you guys, I'm really thrilled. Thank you for your patience, Alkemia. I know we're a little bit over on time and 45, but I am so thrilled to introduce you guys. Some of you may already know this incredible woman. I'm going to add a spotlight here. Alkemia Earth, you guys. Alkemia Earth is a certified master energy healer, certified spiritual alchemist, CEO, and founder of the Ascension Academy. With over 2 decades of extensive training, experience, and practice in energy medicine, she has impacted thousands of students through her transformational online programs and healing services. You guys, this woman has been featured in Psychology Today, Medium.com, and even spent some time at the Obama White House. She is an apprentice of internationally renowned author and healer Cyndi Dale. If you guys are familiar with her work, it's really quite incredible. She brought forth a whole new chakra system that is more resonant and aligned with the today's human, I believe. And she's also a student of internationally renowned Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Qigong, Grandmaster Zhou, Ting. I want to say Zhou, but that may not be quite, and then quite accurate, whom is an extraordinary living treasure known as the Jewel of China. Alkemia has received certifications and as you see Reiki as a master, bioenergy healing as a master, meditation guide, Kundalini yoga, spiritual alchemy, and the 4 pathways, energy healing, Qigong, all sorts of amazing, beautiful modalities, certifications, trainings, just anchoring deeply into your mastery. And now you serve such an incredibly beautiful community of souls so well. Alkemia, it's such a joy to have you back this year. Thank you for being here.
I'm honored. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody. It's literally been a year and some change since last year's event was in January, since we last got to connect. And honestly, I'm excited for you to share your infinite wealth of information and wisdom with this group. But first, I'm just curious, what's been going on in your world? How have you been? What have you been navigating? What has been going on?
I feel like this last year for me, like many other folks, was like a kind of coming out of the birth canal is what it felt like. My children lost their father unexpectedly.
Oh.
And so that's been a whole journey with them, helping them navigate those waters. And but other than that, yeah, I mean, it's been a ride. That's what I can say. It's life is life.
Life has been life, and I can so relate to that. That's what I call life. I call it the great wide, like a roller coaster where sometimes you're like, wee, and sometimes you're like, oh shit. But it's fun nonetheless. By the time you get off, you're like, that was worth it.
University, right? I'm like, oh, I signed up for the advanced classes, I guess. I don't remember doing that, Call my lawyer, my spiritual attorney. No.
I thought I signed up for the more easy go and easeful life plan. Little did you know, you signed up. And I said this earlier this week and it just kind of stuck with me. You're living, like I said, many of us are living like 15 lives in one this lifetime.
Yeah, it seems that way. That's what we mean by many lives, right? So
right.
For sure.
15 in one, because we've got those easeful lives where we're just, on a prairie worried about just getting food on the table. But this is a different kind of test to one's nervous system. This is a different kind of test to one's energy mastery when you've got what feels to be in this particular time that we're in, chaos around us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even with Bonnie's story, right? And we've had the fires in LA, and it's that in alchemy, fire is the first element of transformation. It's one of the most powerful. And so I think in some ways, we all walk through many spiritual fires, and I think it's just our presence and awareness that, allows us to rise from the ashes in a certain way, if that makes sense. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that too, thinking again about the year of the snake and transformation. I'm like, what is the great alchemizer? Fire.
Mhm. Yeah, the wood snake specifically. So yeah, the snake brings those elements of you're shedding old skin. And the thing about the snake is, if most people don't know, if a snake does not shed that skin, it's life threatening.
Hmm.
So, I used to own a 6 foot boa constrictor, actually. Fun fact. So if there's sometimes where that snake kind of needs help, like it gets a little stuck or whatever, especially when they're in captivity. But yeah, that shedding of the skin is absolutely required for their growth. And if they do not shed it does become life threatening. So very symbolic to what's happening right now. And it's divine feminine, right? All feminine energy this year. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's an exciting year. And I feel like it's in preparation. And so I love that you've kind of been birthed through the birth canal. And now that you're on the other side, what feels most alive for you?
I think just serving, I everything that, I pick up along the way, is an opportunity for me to do more internal work, and then just to see, what other gifts I'm blessed with in that process. And then that allows me to share with others. So that's what I feel called to do always, is serve.
Of course. Absolutely. Are you creating anything new, or is anything new on the horizon? Are you just pouring into Ascension Academy? And what is the group program again, or the group monthly
Yeah. Ascension Academy is
student?
definitely
Okay.
in the heart of it right now. So right now I'm just guiding my students through, we have challenges, like we have a challenge coming up at the end of the month that's all geared towards, quantum manifestation. So we do breath work challenges. We did an energy protection challenge. So we do these growth challenges every week, spiritual growth challenges, not every week, but every 6 weeks we do an ascension circle. And then we have an entire library now we've got sound healing in there. We've got yoga. We've got an apothecary section,
Amazing.
sacred. There's, meditation section inside of the membership. So it's been some incredible growth and just beautiful tools. And yeah, it's a high vibe community for sure. we,
It
we do the
is.
hard work and we have fun doing it too. So
I remember your community showed up in full force last year to this event and experience and to the live calls. And it was such a joy and pleasure, because last year was a little different of an offering, and I opened my calendar up. I was like, just land in my calendar. I just want to meet you guys. And I got to meet so many people that you've gotten to serve and support. And they just shared how much value they receive by being held by you and by your container and by your wisdom, and the amount of transformation that they had undergone. And I love the idea, the challenge, right? It's like, okay, we're going to really anchor. And what I perceive when you say these challenges, it's like, we're going to anchor this codex. We're going to anchor this mastery. We're going to do this one thing, this one practice, and really see how it creates transformation in your life, and whether you like it or. So I think that's really beautiful. It's honing in on a particular whatever manifestation, or
actually, right. So it's
yeah.
never one thing. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
essential that.
So we've talked a bit about alchemy, and of course, it's hard to not ask you about alchemy, being the, Alkemia, it being your namesake, the embodiment, so much of the frequency in which you hold. And I think the word alchemy, and I also think the word ascension, they have different meanings to different people. So I would really love for this audience to get to hear from you what those terms mean to you. And when you use them, what is the essence of them?
Yeah, alchemy is the art of transformation. And it all comes down to that basic principle that everything in the universe is energy, made up of energy vibrating at different frequencies. And, each of these frequencies possess a specific vibration, which combine to basically create your overall vibrational bring, or what I refer to as the energetic blueprint, or your blueprint, which is what creates essentially the dimensions of your human experience. So all vibrations operate at, as we know, high and low frequencies, everything in between within us and around us. So that is like the very first thing that, like Nikola Tesla said, you want to find the secrets of the universe, you got to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Mm-hmm. So yeah, essentially when we're talking about the principles of alchemy and, where there's 7 stages, right? It's about taking basically what would consider a low frequency, which is not bad, but it's taking that and transmuting it in something that is more refined, that's higher, considered your spiritual gold. So we apply it in the spiritual terms.
Yeah. And that in and of itself is the art of ascension.
Right. Yeah. And you know, it's interesting because it's like when we look at things from the bigger picture, right? So there's healthy people, right? There's sick people, rich, poor people, you know, happy people, sad people. And, you know, one question that I had growing up was, you know, why was this the case? Why is everyone not happy? Why is everybody not, you know, why are there sick people? Why are there poor people? You know, why are there sad people? And when I asked others around me, I would get a similar response when I would like bring these questions to my others, you know, and I was told, oh, yeah, that's life, you know what I mean? And so, and when I think about it in hindsight, this response reflects to me a direct lack of understanding of the laws that the universe abides by, right? Of course, back then I didn't know it, but now, right? And so for years, I truly believed that. I thought, oh, this is just the way it is, you know, as others would tell me. And so the more experience that I gained in this world, and the more that I observed others and, you know, around me and their behavior, the more that I understood that, you know, there was this difference between healthy people, sick people, rich people, poor people, happy people, sad people. And it's not just a matter of chance the way something it is, but it's a matter of choice. And hard pill to swallow, I know. So what I mean by that is we live in an energetic universe, okay, which, you know, in which everything works according to specific laws and principles, laws that many people are not aware of, okay? And the way energy works in our universe and the laws that our universe abides by are what my teacher refers to as the language of energy, okay? And really when we talk about, you know, these laws or these principles, right, there's one thing that I like to bring up, which is the law of vibration, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. There's also the law of conservation, the law of cause and effect, okay, and the translation of color. These are all some of the things that all come into play. Now, the language of energy is, I think, of very foundational importance if you want to live an exceptional and well-directed life. And for that reason, it has to be expanded on in order to truly gain what it is or what life has to offer. Okay. So that's one thing that that's kind of like the 0 point for me. We understand that energy is everything, you know, whether tangible or intangible. And ultimately, again, energy is the basis of the universe. And a lot of people, I think in our quest, we're such curious beings, right? We want to know why to everything. Attempting to know what energy is, I think in some ways it's kind of like the ego attempting to feel whole and complete again. Mm-hmm. And what I mean, because here's the thing, you know, when we think about what it means to know in some ways means to limit all other possibilities, right? Because does anyone have teenagers here? Okay. They know it all to this day. I do. Okay. So yeah, they know everything. I do everything too. Okay. And then Bruce Lee taught me to empty my cup, right? But to know in a way means to limit all possibilities. So energy, if you think about it, right, it's limitless. It's infinite. It's formless. It cannot be created or destroyed. It cannot be known. Okay. It can only be felt. It can be perceived. It can be experienced, right? So the language of energy is not about, it's not really so much focused on the what, that subject matter, but the how. So learning the language of energy, you know, when you understand it, it will teach you to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, which in turn grants you access to the secrets of the divine universe, as well as your highest potential at all times in the present moment.
Tell us what that could look like for somebody who's wanting to move from the knowing of energy into the experience of energy and how they can start to experience it from the level that you're sharing.
All right. Well, let's kind of expand on what I just said a little bit. So let's look at electricity, for example, right? not even the greatest scientists can tell you, you know, what it is, because it can forever be broken down into smaller and smaller components that will ultimately be deduced to energy, right? Like that's, if you know anything about how it works. So although we don't know what electricity is, we know how it works, is what I mean. Okay. And by understanding its laws, we have conquered it. Okay. So understanding the laws of electricity has led us to be able to create modern day society. So by mastering our understanding of its laws, we can light up entire cities, right? And apparently my light bill, because all my teammates, they just love turning on all the lights. Lights on that, the garage light, no one's in the garage light. So yeah, light bill. Anyway, so this amazing tool, right? So we're able to, you know, by its laws, have control over it. Okay. Now electricity serves us. Now for this reason, understanding the language of energy, if you will, and learning how to apply its beauty into your everyday life through practical application will replace the, oh, I hope and good luck, you know, with power and direction of the world around you and also the world within you. Okay. So by understanding the language of energy and applying it to, you know, your daily life, it will allow your wish to become your command. And you can and you will live a life of limitless potential, because that's what we're designed to do. Okay. And as a matter of fact, I say you already are. You already are. All you need to do is access it. Okay. And the thing about when I, you know, in the beginning, when I talked about healthy, rich, right? The healthy, the rich, and the happy naturally and intuitively follow these universal laws. Access the realities that align with their desires in life. Okay. They naturally understand it and apply the principles that make up the language of energy into their daily lives. And their focus is naturally on what they want instead of what they don't. Okay. On the other hand, right, when we think about the sick, the poor, and the sad, you know, they just simply lack an understanding of, again, that language of energy, and therefore they live a life that does not align with their desires. They tend to usually focus on what they don't want instead of what they do want. The happy person says, you know, I want to be happy, right? The sad person says, I don't want to be sad. You see? So if you pay attention to each phrase, right, the happy person is focusing on happiness, right? Whereas the sad person is focusing on sadness, right? One thing we have to understand or know, maybe not know, energy does not understand the not. Okay. Energy simply hears the subject, and manifests just that. Okay. So the subject of the happy person's thought is happiness, whereas the subject of the sad person's thought is sadness, right? So whatever you focus on will manifest into your life. And I mean, it's a little deeper than that, but that's kind of basically what it is. And I say, you know, the good news is that, you know, learning the language of energy and how to practically apply it in your life is actually really simple. It's not complicated, you know, it's just, again, the application is the key. Okay. And so, yeah, we always have to start there, is what I say.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what I hear you saying is the language of, or is really, or and the mastery comes from within the energy is understanding the universal laws and understanding how they work, how to operate within them, not against them. And I've always kind of said, it's like, the Kabbalistic traditions have shared that, but the laws of our universal, the game that we're playing have been written out for us. And once you know the game, it's like you enter into a game and you have no idea what the rules are. And then you start playing it and then you start to figure it out. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you become better at the game. You become more masterful at the game. And it's like the laws are, I want to say cheat codes, but they're not the cheat codes. They're just the programming. It's the programming through which everything is operating. And again, the moment that you understand those and apply them, and it can be easy, which I love, because I think sometimes we think, oh, that sounds complicated, that sounds hard, but it really can be simple.
Yeah. No, I mean, luck is something we all, you know, luck is just simply the effect of cause. Okay. It's understanding how to formulate a cause will allow you to effortlessly produce that desired effect that you want. And that's all. It's all about how we want to gain access, right? That's what it's about. When we're talking about manifestation, what we're looking to do is one thing we need to, here's the thing that I like to, I've kind of twisted a few, people are like, wait, what? So the thing about manifestation, there's a lot of, I think, misconceptions. First of all, energy is not created, it's accessed. Okay. Creating your own reality through, the use of your thoughts and your words, as we know, it's a new age philosophy, if you will, ancient practices, new age philosophy that's held by a lot of people today. And, we've been taught that our words and our thoughts create our reality. Everyone here has heard that. We all know, and most of us genuinely, I think it's correct. And I used to be one of those people, I would practice using conscious thought and conscious speech to, create the reality that I wanted to experience. After some thought and some quiet contemplation, working with one of my teachers, I basically understood that I actually had it all wrong. Okay. And what I mean by that is I questioned the word create. And that is when I understood, that I was using, I would say, the wrong word, if you will, this entire time to describe what I thought was occurring energetically when it was actually something else. Okay. The power of our words and thoughts are beyond our comprehension. The question is, do they really create our reality, or do they just access one that is already or always existed? Yeah. So the thing that I learned and that I come to know, to understand, is that all realities exist right here, right now. Every single possibility. Okay. A happy you, a sad you, a married you, a single you, a rich you, healthy you, a poor you, a young you, an old you. All of these realities exist right here, right now. And the first thing that has to be understood is the law of vibration. Okay. And the law of vibration basically states that energy exists in the form of vibrational frequency. And in the energetic world, like attracts like. Okay. And what this means is that vibration X will only be able to see anything else that is vibrating on vibration X. Okay. Therefore, anything that is emitting vibration Y or Z will not be emitted, or not be experienced, I should say, by that person, which is emitting vibration X. Okay, you guys follow me? This is the only algebra I've ever used since math class.
It's like a radio dial. Like, you can't be on two radio stations at once. So you're going to be, if you're on this radio station, that's the radio station that's going to be broadcast. You're not going to see the other radio stations. You're not going to hear the other radio stations. They're existing there. You're just not tuned into them.
It's exactly what it's like. That's one of the analogies I love to use. Like, who loves jazz here, hip hop, whatever it is, right? So you're turned into the jazz station, you've got, what's that song that was in the 90s, Michael Bullen, all those songs are playing. Okay. But if you want to hear, country music, it's not going to be on the jazz station. Okay. It's not that the country music isn't playing right now. It's just that you're not tuned into it. Okay. So yes, everything is vibration. Thought is vibration. Emotion is vibration. Color is vibration. Matter itself is vibration. What differentiates one form from another is the speed that each form is vibrating at. The vibrational speed is called frequency, right? Some forms exist at a higher frequency, while others exist at a lower frequency, but all forms exist at a specific frequency. Just like radio stations, what frequency you dialed into, okay? For me, back in the day, it was 98.9. I remember drops every 5 seconds. So the vibration that you emit is the vibration you resonate with. Your vibration is what forms the formless, okay? So in other words, your vibrations you emit will basically dictate the lens through which you will experience your life. So in simple terms, this means that the quality of your thoughts, emotions, words, and feelings, which are all energy and therefore vibrations, right, determine not only which reality you will create, but which reality you will access.
Right. that access versus create.
Okay. Right. Because we know that reality is energy, and energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? Therefore, you can never really create your own reality, but you can most definitely access that which you desire in the present moment. I think the big question is how. By knowing you already have it is the answer. Okay. After all, right? We know how the mind, right? What your mind believes will ultimately be reflected in your physical life, right? One of the principles, as within, so without. The law of correspondence teaches us that. Mm-hmm.
The laws was one of the very first things that I studied in my journey, the law of attraction. And then I was like, wait a second, that's not even a law. That's a principle, a sub principle from the actual laws. Earlier, I said, what I meant was the Hermetic. And I think I said Kabbalistic, but I meant Hermetic. But yeah, that was one of the very first. And then I was like, I need to understand that even more. And of course, came to the law of one, this understanding, which then made, I was like, okay. And I love, are you familiar with Matthias Stefano and how he describes the laws through the chakra system? Of course, I would think
That's her. He's amazing.
Yeah. I was sharing, and that's been really helpful for me to remember. Law of one, I kind of see as the totality, the all, the law of mentalism, the mind, the crown. Then we come in here, the law of correspondence, like the mirror, which makes so much sense to me. The law of vibration, well, this is vibrating. The law of rhythm, well, this is rhythm. And so it was just a really beautiful way to really understand and see the laws through a lens of the chakras too, which is something that is in and of itself is such a powerful tool, or rather not even a tool, a powerful something I want to say understand to really work within.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the mind is such a beautiful tool. It is a very powerful tool, right? Many of us, I think, let it take over our lives instead of using it to enrich our lives. I think many of us allow ourselves to get caught up in our mind. And I think doing so can really make you feel like you're no longer CEO or the director of your life, when in fact you are, and the thing about it is, this is what a little thing I tell my students. I say, sit back for a moment, with your eyes closed, and self-reflect on your life, right? And when you realize and acknowledge that everything in your life is really just a direct reflection of your mind. Everything in your life is a direct reflection of what you chose to focus on. Okay. And I'm referring to both what you consider good and what you consider bad, your job, your health, your relationship, your financial stability. And once you understand that everything in your life is a direct reflection of your mind, you will clearly see that you are, in fact, the own director of your life. And if you happen to be one of the many who sees, reflections in your physical life that you are not fond of, okay, it's not because you are not the director, it's because you're not familiar with how to direct. Mm-hmm. And therefore, you're directing in a way that's working against you, okay? You've likely been focusing on what you don't want instead of what you do want. And I say that's okay. Remember, again, the purpose is you're learning. This is all a learning game, okay? And so what your mind believes is what you will focus on, right? Will always manifest into your life. And that's the core thing that I'm teaching is belief, right? This, that if you have a problem and you constantly focus on that problem instead of the solution, the problem will continue to exist, right? So alternatively, if you focus on living life without the problem, okay, that you're experiencing, eventually the problem will dissolve. It'll disappear. And so everything does begin in the mind. It comes back to that first Hermetic principle, all is mind, right? Everything else is just a reflection of it. And the question remains, how do you read your mind to become conscious of how things in order to know what to change, right? And it's a good question. And I think the answer is a lot simpler than most people think. Reading your mind and seeing how it works subconsciously has nothing to do with your mind itself, but it has everything to do with the words that come out of your mouth. Because you see, our words are a reflection of your mind's program. really of your energetic program, okay, which is comprised of your thoughts and your beliefs, which thoughts and beliefs are just simply energy, okay? In other words, your words act as a magnifying glass that gives you insights into the current programming of your mind. Okay, so as you gain these insights, you'll be able to kind of see which part of your mind's program is working against you. And, you know, that's what it kind of gives you the ability to reprogram your mind in order to improve that reflection, you know, that you deeply cherish, right, in your life.
I think what I'm noticing in what you're saying too, which is so good, is the value of having coaches or mentorships or friends or somebody who has a higher awareness of this, what you're sharing, because we may not be aware. And as we engage in conversation, then our words, they can mirror back. I don't know if you noticed this, or I don't know if you perceived, because I often do that in conversations with others. I'm like, I noticed that you said this. And they're like, I did. And then they start to become aware of the programming because they can feel it. And I can feel in my body too, simultaneously, that they're also sometimes that their words aren't matching their energy, which I also think is a really beautiful. And yeah, our words are so telling. Another thing I'm noticing with that is when I'm in a really connected, grounded, anchored state, I'm very meticulous with my words. And many of us probably are. But when I'm tired, when I'm dysregulated, when I'm a little disconnected, the unconscious language starts to come out. And I'm like, ooh, okay, that's there. Interesting. And that's how I handle that, because it's not always, again, very meticulous, but sometimes every now and then a word will slip in there or it'll pop into my brain, like the idea of being at war, when I'm like, oh no, we're not here for war, but I'm like, okay, that exists within me. So yeah, I love what you're sharing, because I'm able to witness my own exploration of that and how that's still my imprinting, the subconscious, unconscious that's still ruling my life shows itself. And maybe you guys can relate to that, how you will be in conversation with somebody and maybe they'll point something out, or you're working with somebody and they'll be able to reflect or mirror something back to you that you weren't even conscious or aware of, because it becomes just so natural. Not to mention the watching our words and being mindful of our words. I think what you had said, I think is really something that I hope people took note of. Our subconscious, or the universe, the quantum fabric of reality, does not hear not. It doesn't hear that. And yeah, so it's like it hears. And the other piece was, we may have a belief that we're choosing to anchor. I am one with God, or I am infinite, limitless, and divine. And as we say that, we can say it over and over again. And we think, oh, well, my words create my reality. My beliefs create my reality. But is that what you actually believe? Within the deepest layers of your being, do you truly believe that to be true? And that's kind of what we've been peeling away here, because so many of us, we go on the spiritual path. Maybe we've been doing this work for a long time. We start to become aware of the truths of reality and who we be. Yet, and we use that as a way to kind of bypass in the moment when our subconscious is revealing to us that there's still work to be done. Sometimes, something will happen, come up, and you're like, nope, everything happens for a reason. You shouldn't be upset. You shouldn't be attached. And then we bypass the fact that, yeah, I'm upset right now. I'm experiencing attachment. And there's something that wants to be done with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that awareness is key. And it's all a journey, at the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, there's many ways to ultimately what we're looking to do is whatever it is that you're seeking in your life. And there's really 8 dimensions that make up the human experience, from financial and career to relationships to your physical health, emotional well-being. And when you look at those pillars in life, it all comes back down to one thing, which is energy. And ultimately that process of looking to see, I think Rumi put it best, I think as humans, we all want one thing in our life, which is just harmony. That's one thing of saying love, harmony, peace, whatever. It's all the same.
Yeah.
You're trying to work on your relationship corner or manifest this in your relationship or money or career. You're ultimately saying, I want everything to be harmonious in my life, right? And so in order to access harmony, there has to be an alignment energetically for that. And so you have to look at your blueprint, so to speak, your energetic blueprint, to see what is it that you're carrying in your blueprint, or what is in the way of that harmony. Whereas Rumi put it best, your task is not to seek for love outside of yourself, but to seek all the barriers within yourself that you built against it.
Mm-hmm.
So healing and manifestation they go hand in hand. There is no manifesting what you want because it would already be here, right? So you're like, why is this not coming to me? What's in the way? What's the block, right? And so the process of coming back to the alchemical practices, coming back to the basics of energy work is removing what's in the way, dissolving what's in the way so that you can restore your divine blueprint, which is prosperity, love, peace, harmony, right? So that's the journey.
That's the holy human journey. I really love this question that came through, and I would love to read it out to you. Claudia asked, she said, so if we know we already have it, how do we access it? She asked for an example.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's many ways, right? I say there's many paths in approaching. I say the inner work is very important. So always having, I think, a protocol in place. I like to work with cosmic energies to work on deprogramming. I specifically run certain energies that deprogram, and I run them through my chakras to help dissolve dense energetic blocks, old programs. But also it's combined with, I think, doing, paying attention. I mean, to bring it all back simple, what are the programs that you're carrying? You got to look at the words, right? Look at the words that you're speaking, because that's what's going to give you a better understanding of what you're holding in your being. Some of us don't know that we create our reality, or we say that and we hear it, but again, what's in the way of you accessing the one that you truly desire? So having a consistent energetic hygiene practice is key, because your energy blueprint is what creates your reality. So we're constantly picking things up, holding on to things that we haven't processed, old things, there's old programs running. And then those kind of what's held in the energetic blueprint begins to trickle down and form those denser layers in our body, right? So having a consistent energetic hygiene practice is key. And then doing that inner work. So these are all things that we work on in Ascension Circle, because it's not, some people just think I'll just go and get a Reiki session. That's great. But if you're not changing what you're doing, how you're thinking, and how you're basically your evolution, then you'll be right back where you were in a couple of days, really. I mean, empowerment comes in doing that inner work and understanding these principles and how to apply them to your everyday life. And energy hygiene is going to be really at the base of that all, learning how to work with energy and apply it to your everyday life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I always say that energy hygiene is a non-negotiable for anyone on any form of self-mastery path. It needs to be a non-negotiable, especially for those of you who are starting to go and do this work. That some of you are very hypersensitive. Some of you are empaths. Some of you have a really strong magnetic field that can, and again, the psychic field is messy, y'all. You don't want to be thinking other people's thoughts, feeling other people's emotions. You want to be in your own energetic sovereignty. I really love this. This question, we've got a couple questions actually. Tammy, if it's okay, I'm going to direct this question to Alkemia because I'm really curious what she has to say about it. She said, I've been told to fake it till you make it, or say it until you believe it. And she asks, is this practice beneficial or not beneficial is the word she used, but I just removed the not because that's what my subconscious does. So,
I mean, I in a way it does. And what I'll say is, well, number one, you can't fool the universe. Okay. So out, whatever it is, but what you can sort of reverse engineer. So what I mean by that is you can use your words to reprogram your mind. That's one tool you can use. There's many tools. Okay. Your words are keys that you can use to reprogram your mind and thus gain access to the infinitude where all realities exist. And once you understand how to use your words in a beneficial way, all you have to do is reach into the bowl of infinite realities and possibilities and choose which experience you'd like in this very moment. Okay. So yeah, adjusting your words to reflect the reality that you want to access will eventually have an impact on your mind over time. It will. Okay. Your mind will actually change its vibration to reflect the reality, and the vibration that you're imprinting onto it through the use of your words. So that's one tool that you can use. And we use mantra, we use chanting, all of that. We use affirmation. But in addition to that, I think paired with some other higher cosmic tools, you'll get there.
Yeah, I completely agree because if it doesn't feel true to you, uncovering the why, getting curious about what within me, what additional beliefs, what emotions, what fear, why am I not trusting myself? Why am I not trusting the universe? That was another thing that came up for me when you were speaking, which I really appreciate when you were talking about the people who, and this is what I've noticed, and I'm curious if you notice this too, the people who focus on, let's say, the positive, I want to be happy or I don't want to be sad. What I've noticed, the difference often in these two people is their lack of trust in themselves and the universe. It's oftentimes, not always, but what I'm noticing is it's, do you trust in yourself and being able to, do you trust in a God or a higher power? Do you trust in the universe? Do you believe that this world is a benevolent world, always working out in your favor? And oftentimes that lack of trust is a direct relationship to the amount of trauma or challenges or struggling that they've had to navigate.
Yeah. There's the thing about it when we don't trust is it creates resistance, right? Anything that creates resistance will kind of create the opposite effect of what you have to
Yeah.
bring the call in. You don't want resistance. And the thing about trust is when we look at, for instance, the path of alchemy, when we're working with the 7 keys of the system, which are the 7 main chakras,
Mm-hmm.
is higher chakras, once we move cross heart, right? The heart is the bridge that kind of bridges the higher and lower chakras. Lower chakras are the chakras of the human experience, material, so survival. Those higher chakras are all the spiritual chakras. And that is really the journey of trust and surrender. And most of us are learning what that really looks like to surrender, to let go, the need for control, the need to understand exactly when and how the outcome is going to be, right? That's all those lower chakras, which there's a time and a place for that. But I think most of our journey is learning to surrender and let go, which is why Shavasana and yoga is the most advanced yoga pose.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
I've never heard that, but I really, that lit me up. I was like, yeah, yeah.
The last pose you take, it is the pose where you have to completely let go and surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we can do warrior 1, warrior 2, right? That's easy because we're doing. But to hold Shavasana and to completely let go, that's the advanced posture. That's the advanced asana.
Mm. And what I also adore, knowing and understanding alchemy and polarity, is that if you are calling forward, you're like, ooh, my word of the year is peace. My word of the year is peace. The universe has like kind of a cosmic joke going, and it's like, oh, okay, you want to embody peace this year? And you in your mind may think that, oh, I'm going to get really peaceful, easeful life experiences. And that's going to be my gift as I embody peace. And the universe is like, no, I'm going to give you chaos. And you're going to become a master of peace within that chaos.
So you're going to get cut off in traffic every 5 seconds, get off all on your way home, you know, all the things that are going to test, are you really the prince of patience?
Absolutely. The Prince of Patience. Michael's got a really great question too. So he says, Lacey mentioned about how stress reveals subconscious programs. Is it feasible that some of the subconscious negative programs are needed for protection so we can withdraw and self-regulate?
Mm-hmm. I think so. Michael, you have it on point. I mean, same reason why when we get our hearts broken, we immediately withdraw. We don't trust anyone. We don't let anyone in. And there is a need sometimes for isolation or to isolate that wound, okay, so that I can be protected and heal. But then the next step in that is eventually, if you do not take off the bandage, let those walls down, okay, that were originally built to protect you, they become your prison. And so as nothing is getting in while you're healing, nothing will get out either. So, you know, there will be a time and place that is appropriate to when you will need to remove that. And that's a lot of the people that work with me. They're like, oh, you know, these walls have been up, a grand wall of China right around the heart for 10, 20 years. You know, they don't even know it. And they're like, why can't I, you know, heal from this? Like, it's probably time to knock the wall down, you know? So yes, it is necessary that we withdraw, we have isolation to heal. But then we need to, you know, to reintegrate, if you will.
Absolutely. Because it's a lot easier to become masterful at self-regulation when you're at home alone.
So peaceful here. As soon as I step out and I have to deal with the real world, I'm like, oh, wait, back to the lab. I got some work to do.
Absolutely. That's the real training ground when you go out into the world. And yeah, you get to see what triggers you. You get to see where you're in judgment. You get to see where you fall into old patterning, where your language comes out and it's like, oh wow, okay. It really is. I like to say I used to be somebody who was out and about 24/7. I never like to be alone. And now I really like my alone time and my peace. So I go out and I collect, it's the substance and I'm like, okay. And it's, this curious mind and heart. And then I go home and I'm like, okay, now we got to work on all the stuff that came up, all the stuff that we navigated and we saw and we perceived. So yeah, the world really does become our playground or training ground, but our playground in that way.
Absolutely.
So, you guys, any other questions that you have? This woman is a wealth of information, knowledge, wisdom, embodied wisdom, anything as it relates to any of the topics that we've touched on, talked about, transformation, alchemy, ascension, truly uncovering the blocks to that which we prefer to be experiencing in reality. I mean, is it not everything that we've kind of navigated over the course of these 8 days, but through and different and really powerful lens. I hope you guys, even me, I love getting to come together with people like Alkemia because I have my own light bulbs come off. I have my own perspectives that get shifted just a little bit or expanded just a little bit more to really understand what it is that we're doing here, what it is that we chose to navigate. Thank you, Alondra. Alondra just dropped her website, her Instagram, her Facebook. I didn't have your link. Did you want to do you did like a month last year?
Yeah, well, this one, actually, you can get an entire month if you guys want to come join us inside of Ascension Circle.
Perfect.
And I post
there it is.
For $7. There's a code you can put I am all capital letters in the checkout. Choose like the monthly option, and then you'll get your first month for $7. But yeah, at the end of this month, we start our next challenge. It's a beautiful group, and then aside from that, we have monthly full moon activations. We do Kundalini work in there, so we are always doing amazing things. I just had an amazing guest in there that spoke on a near-death experience, and so many riches in the community. But yeah, the live practices are definitely one. We start a challenge at the end of this month that's related to quantum manifestation and applying energetics to that. So yeah,
Amazing. Amazing. You guys, last year, I want to say that her link for her gift was one of the most clicked links of all of the free gifts that were offered. And not just clicked. I hope that beyond that, signing up and that you got to receive a beautiful influx of earth angels and star seeds that are really here and devoted to doing the work. You guys, again, this woman is a wealth of knowledge and information. Alchemy as one, the art of transformation, and beyond that, if you're really looking to anchor into your mastery, if you're looking for a beautiful just community of beings, then get into Alkemia's world. Amazing. Danielle says, I'm just doing program at Ascension Academy, and she looks forward to getting to do more into it. So she just started. Awesome.
Go, Danielle.
Amazing, Danielle. I love it. These are these people. This group of light warriors is truly devoted to their soul service, and so many of you I know are not only here to just learn more information, but you are here to be inspired by the work that each one of these amazing souls does to be a soul of service. I know that you know that you yourself have great wisdom to share. And so I hope that what Alkemia and her work has deeply inspired you in that. Alkemia, thank you so much. Is there anything that feels really expansive to kind of end on?
Yeah, let's do spirit to spirit. It's just a 3-step process that I use every single morning. I learned this from Cyndi, and I use this before I do any activation for myself or meditation, or even before I work on a client. And it's just a simple 3-step process that helps to align us with our higher selves, our helping spirits and guides, and with source. And it's a simple 3-step process. You can do it in seconds. So let's take a deep breath together. Nice deep cleansing breath. kind of drop into this present moment. And that first step in spirit to spirit is just to simply feel yourself connecting to and affirming your higher self, your spirit. And that may show up to you through an affirmation such as, I only uphold my highest and truest self, or you may see your spiritual essence maybe standing before you. However it shows up for you is right. And we're going to open up to and connect to your spiritual guides. These are your helping spirits, your angels, ascended masters that walk with you. You have an entire spiritual team. For me, I'm very visual, so I always see them standing before me, sending their love and their light streaming to me. That's how I connect with them. And again, whatever shows up for you is right. And then that third step is to open up to affirm and connect to the source, the creator, God, or whomever you personally refer to, the universe. And just making that intention to connect. And then I'm gonna have everyone drop into their heart space by just bringing your awareness to your heart, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to send healing streams of grace to everyone here. These are universal healing streams of grace coming in and through your heart chakra, coming directly from source to each and every one of you. And I'm gonna ask that the healing streams be placed wherever they need to be in your body now or in your life right now. Mm-hmm. As we're coming in right now to everyone live and even watching the replay, you might feel a tingling or a lightness. Okay. When you're ready, thank spirit and thank your eyes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys, it can be that simple. It can be that easy. We make it sometimes a little more complicated than we have to, don't we? The mind likes to do that. I love that Alkemia, you're such a transmission of wisdom, and you do blend and bring, great science, and you come from a pretty long line of incredible teachers and a wonderful background, but also you bring it into simplicity. It's like, okay, what can we do with it? Great, yay. Now, how do we embody that? What can we do with that information? And you do it just so beautifully. So thank you so much for bringing so much wisdom in and through in an embodied way, where everyone here can now take it and apply it right away in their lives, which I think is just absolutely incredible. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you all for having me. Good to see you again, Lacey. Hope everyone has an amazing rest of their week. Stay connected, stay grounded.
Yeah.
Love and light to everyone here.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you all tomorrow for our final day of the I Am activation. We'll be together tomorrow morning. I look forward to seeing you all. Enjoy your evening, enjoy your sleep, and we'll be here together in another 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 hours or so. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Love you. See you soon.